Chasing August, which is quite the coincidence, considering it is August right now. About, what, 2 months since the last episode or so?
Yeah, we're really chasing August in terms of getting it done. We're hoping to get this done by the end of August,
Please, can we just get at least Hitman 2 done by the end of August? I already have all of the episodes recorded and everything. We're like halfway through the series at this point. This is, episode 9? And there's probably about 18?
Yeah. This is a good halfway point in the series. You got any impressions of where this is going?
I actually have, it's funny. I sort of was like not that interested in the game at the very start, but I have gotten a lot more into it as we've done more of the game. That said, it is still quite difficult doing it all, silent assassin and all that sort of stuff, especially as I have just kept continuously putting more and more restrictions on the stuff that I do, where I'm like trying to avoid like knocking out as many people as possible and stuff like that. But even then, I've turned around on the series a lot.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's a self-imposed limitation that's kind of become a liability for you. That's just my opinion. You can obviously play the game any way you want to, but I feel like what you're doing is you're playing the game very, very seriously, and it's kind of, it's good for what it is. It's a realistic rendering of this game, and honestly, it's taking the game seriously. The game takes itself seriously, at least in terms of its broader overarching plot. There are obviously goofy ways to complete assassination, but I think you've been playing it pretty straight. You've been like, well, let's actually do this like as the game developers intended. You can have fun later. You can have fun on the stream.
I'm not even having fun later. I'm just like doing it, and I am like perfecting it, honing it to a sharpened edge that I then plunge into my victim's neck. It's like, no, the thing is, the game does take itself seriously, which is still something that we talked about plenty of times before. I still find that so surprising, that the idea that this goofy cartoon game, where more often than not I electrocute people to death like it's Home Alone, still is on a level that it never breaks the kayfabe, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost because like the difficulty means that you have to orchestrate a legitimate. I mean, there are certain rules, obviously, that are a little bit like, okay, can you really get away with something? But that's just inherent to the stealth genre. I mean, you can't have intelligent guards. So you kind of have to choose a certain level of abstraction. And then once you're at that, well, there's enough of those limitations where you have to be serious. You actually have to find a way to get through an area where you're dragging a body, for example, as in the
yeah, where you need to like knock out the person across the roof to be able to drag the guy into the hamper that just conveniently exists on the roof. You talk about like the sort of contrivedness of how everything exists, but wait until the next episode. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And yeah, I'm also kind of looking forward to this Mumbai, because I know they really went all out with the locales in all of these, but most of these locations are very much like upper crust, like the richest part of the richest place, like super fortresses or like chateaus that you would never, there's occasional dalliances into like the Colorado, whatever.
Yeah, like the random Colorado fruit farm, or somewhat this one, Grilled Cage is also another one too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I kind of like it when they have just like, oh, it's just an open air market, like in Marrakesh or something. It's like you're actually just going to the bazaar and you're having to do this with numerous passers-by who could possibly report you and stuff. And
numerous is to say the least for this one. It's like this one is just jam-packed with people. This is also the point in time that you actually realize that a lot of the big crowds that exist in the game aren't actually real people for the sake of doing crimes.
It's like an NPC kind of thing where there's just most of the people you interact with are just kind of not really, they're just textures basically. They don't have any logic behind them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's something close to that, where it's like there are still enough to be difficult, but ultimately a lot of the people that are just regular crowds, and you'll see that actually pretty quick in this episode alone, are just kind of there to fill space. But still, it does eventually result in, you got to be at least somewhat careful, even if you think you might be entirely alone.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned that the city, we were talking about looking up the population. It had a population of 12 million as of 2014, according to Wikipedia. Hitman was actually the source for that. Okay, I'm sorry.
What, really?
No, I'm just... no, obviously not. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Okay.
A little bit of
let's be honest, it's like
humor.
we're talking about Wikipedia here. It can be literally anything sometimes.
That's
and it's
true.
like, tiny factoid here and there is just, anyway, I'm a clown.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. Are you going to be a clown for, like, you just spawned in as a clown?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yes, that's right. You thought this was going to be a regular episode of Hitman. Oh, no. This is not only Silent Assassin. This is Silent Assassin's suit only. And that suit is a clown costume.
Now, is this to achieve some kind of accomplishment?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, hey, I could unlock stuff by doing this and everything, but at the same time, too, it's just like, I don't know. I've been talking about, making things more and more complex for no reason. This is this thing that I was talking about some of the crowds just not really existing.
They won't notice that you're a clown. Like, the vast majority
Did
of
I
people
just
in that
shot a
context.
camera, no less?
A clown shooting a camera, I mean, it's probably part of the act, though.
I mean, that is true. But at the same time, it's like, no. This one is a very special episode of Hitman because this is the one where I decide to go just straight up, full on, hardest challenge possible. No changing costumes. No, like, doing anything to be sneaky aside from just, well, sneaking well. And I don't know why. It's just that whole thing that I was talking about just like constantly giving myself more restrictions. And for some reason, this one is the one that I decided to go for the hardest one.
Yeah, by the way, I'm assuming you're playing like that stock music, the circus music.
Entrance of the Gladiators, yes.
Oh, yeah. I did know that distantly. Yeah, it's like... It
was actually really close right there, even just walking by here.
Gladiator entrance.
No, keep going.
Gladiator entrances. That's the name of the song.
Oh, finally, it's like in those video game songs where you have lyrics put to them. Anyway, the unfortunate thing, though, is that Rankan is actually one of the most interesting characters to just kind of follow around and hear his stupid dialogue. So in some ways, it is kind of too bad that we're not experiencing that. He is an absolutely ridiculous character, but...
Like, it kind of just a classic over-the-top urban mafioso who just...
Well, mafioso turned, movie director.
Oh, okay, so just all the drama, all the dramatic...
Oh, just wait until we see a good
flourishes.
picture of him a little bit later on. One that he, I have no doubt, commissioned for quite a bit of money. But for right now, though, it's like, no, we got to do that. Look, I have to make this episode the clown one. It's just, it's just a desire that I cannot ignore at this point in time. I've been playing so much of this game. We're halfway through all three of them, for God's sake. I have to be the clown.
Isn't it bliss?
Yes.
Are we a pair?
That's right.
Me here at last on the ground, you in midair.
That's right.
But where are the clowns?
It's me. I'm the clown. They're already here.
Well, maybe next year.
No, but, well, with how often we've been putting out these episodes, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
And there was absolutely no reason to do that. That's just like, all the way back from when we were first starting to record this. Just me beaning people with the good old propane flask, point blank range.
Propane is very good for that. Propane accessories such as tanks.
Oh, there it is. Right there.
Yeah, that's so over the top. Yeah, he's a real...
I love it. The snake made him money and everything.
Yeah, they really did a good job just choosing like an over-the-top, like kind of archetypal character. Like, oh, this is the ridiculous director mafioso. He is like a mafioso too. Like he's a mob.
Oh,
boss,
he was
right?
he was what, a former cashier for Lucas Gray, whatever his name is or whatever, before turning to, I guess, a slightly more legit sort of enterprise, which is to say laundering money through through making movies.
Yeah, hot dog stand owner.
Yeah, no, not quite there just yet. No, we're not murdering hot dog stand owners. This is at least like a high class sort of apartments or something for right now, or will be.
Mm-hmm.
And right here, thankfully, I'm mostly hidden behind this stupid concrete. I don't even know.
You do not look very well hidden. Like there's just a bush of clown that the clown throw.
Now you say that, but at the same time, this is the one thing that actually hides Hitman's barcode on the back of his head. So is it really the least? It's probably the most inconspicuous sort of disguise he's had.
Mm-hmm.
And then yet again, just the old classic, hey, nobody's looking in this direction, much like back in Colorado. That's all you need.
Wow, that's your target?
That was the target.
Wow.
Right there.
That's
I distracted
so
that guy for 5 seconds with a coin, and that's all it took. Now that he's facing the wrong way, then we just kind of saunter on out here like a clown does.
Well, you remember, I like the little detail where it spray paints the 4th floor, so it tells you something of where you are, but it's also like it feels like a real room.
You would call it diegetic, perhaps?
Yeah, there you go. Diegetic storytelling in a very subtle way.
I don't know why you decided that that was like my phrase or something. It's not. That's a real word that has meaning.
It's a word that is really useful for a lot of situations when doing like games criticism.
Especially something that is so obviously contrived as Hitman, for example.
Yes.
Which again, just wait until the next episode when you talk about that one.
Okay.
This is still at least like, you can understand some guy dressing up as a clown and kind of blending into the very, tightly packed city streets and everything like that.
The next
we'll
one is
the
the next one is like the Green Mountains, right?
It's Vermont.
Okay.
It's the suburbs of Vermont.
Yep, that's Green Mountains. Oh, remember your French classes. Yes.
Actually,
Vermont. Yeah.
Oh, that. All right.
Yep.
I'm finally recording over Citus Inversus. Oh, remember good times there in Hokkaido.
Yeah.
Throwing people off edges, as I am wont to do at all points in time.
There should be an assassination option where you just make the surgery, flip it twice so that it doesn't do anything.
That's not what whatever. The funny thing is that I actually saw recently like an article on Citus Inversus. Apparently somebody got like a transplant from a person that does not have Citus Inversus and it was successful.
Oh, so it's a real disease?
Oh yeah, actually it's like super real, and in the exact way they described it here, it's like you need to have a transplant from somebody with Citus Inversus to have it. But apparently they have gotten around that, so actually the entire stupid premise is not even true anymore.
Is it the kind of thing like where you can only you need to have like a blood donation thing where somebody else has to have Citus Inversus?
Yeah, but actually, recently now, somebody has gotten somebody who has Citus Inversus has gotten a transplant from somebody who doesn't. So it's just like, it ruins the entire premise for the game.
Okay, I see. Well, I mean, it not when it came out. It came out in like 2006 or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, it came out like 2014. The original Hitman came out in like 2006.
I mean, you could have somebody.
You were still so right about that when I was talking about Colorado, where it's just like, no way, the first one came out. This is a retelling of it. Nope, you were right.
Oh, okay. Like they incorporated the other games in the series into the like it's a
Yeah,
universe
as
or
like, oh,
something.
these are the previous assassination targets, stuff like that. Yeah, but it's
By
the
the
sort of
way,
thing that where it's just like it sounds unbelievable until you find out that it is actually real, and then also that apparently it's been cured.
oh, okay, yeah, that is neat. And I love when you could just like see like a can of like produce or like canned food just light up, and it's like, oh, that can be used to kill somebody.
It feels almost as if it should be just like, hey, they paid for this. Also, Prime Hitman here.
Like that can be. You remember in Inscription where you have like the graves that you're filling out? It's like somebody has died of getting hit in the head with a canned food, and that's what goes on their grave.
Now, people don't actually die when they get hit in the head with the expired can of spaghetti sauce. That's a non-lethal weapon.
Yeah, but it could be the ultimate cause of their death. Like, oh, you're in a battle or something. You're in.
This
like,
game does not extend that far.
Okay, fair enough.
We have not incorporated that into the general scope of Hitman. Wondering if the people that I knock unconscious die later of like internal bleeding or something.
Has there ever been a game where you have to commit a murder and then also do all the political stuff to make sure, like, you have to give a speech at the, give a eulogy that ultimately is what leads you to being absolved of guilt? Like, you cast the blame on somebody else as part of framing them?
Almost definitely. There has to be. There must be.
I think I've heard about a game like that, like where you're on like a boat or something, and you've definitely committed a murder. You have to get out of it, but I don't remember.
But it's just like you have to overcome the guilt of murdering somebody. But that's like, I have seen games like that before.
Okay, yeah.
Hell, I'm sure we probably played something, some sort of like Omicron or something did that.
Yeah.
But, it's just like Omicron did it in the way that Omicron does, so.
It was too stupid to matter. Like, oh, you have to kill the farmer and immediately just
His
to
name is
avoid.
Photo.
Yeah, please give him some dignity.
It was a mega honor to meet you. Me, the Nomad Soul. I was the Nomad Soul. You weren't.
The best part of that is when you take
Wait, why do I
over
want to admit to the fact that I was the Nomad Soul?
you take over his body so you can move like the beast. You can ride the beast for 200 feet, which he would have done gladly for you anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Mega honor.
Yes, and then you take over another body so that he just dies.
Yep. I drink poison, don't you remember?
Which, by the way, why would you even use that power unless... Like, whatever. It doesn't make sense.
Unfortunately, we've already finished Omicron. We're on to games that are too good, actually, to be able to make fun of in the same way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it sounds like the other games by David Cage are just as bad, but not as funny in general.
I don't know. I feel like some of them are. I mean, certainly, like, Beyond Two Souls gets extremely ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like, It doesn't have the ridiculous first-person shooter gameplay where enemies spawn in as you're looking at them.
By the way, I like this scene. I realize it's all like NPCs for the most part. It's a nice little.
Oh yeah, but it's like nobody notices when I look like a normal customer. The normal sort of clowns that just kind of look around at the various textiles around here.
If a clown walked through a major city, it would be conspicuous, but probably not like that big a deal. You're like, oh yeah, they're going to like a birthday party,
and it's just that easy, baby.
It's actually kind of weird, like in Joker, like the first scene is just like, street criminals.
When the jokester just shoots a sign that happens to be over one of the most wanted men in maybe the entire world.
Yeah.
Just kind of deals with him. I mean, it's like I went through the entire effort of just like, figuring out how to identify this man, identifying this man, like even putting myself right in front of some of these people, Hitman once again.
Mm-hmm.
And even putting myself right in front of people who would instantly recognize that I'm clearly, somebody who's suspicious at the very least. and then I just kind of shoot a sign.
I don't think there's anything suspicious about a clown shooting a sign. It's part of the act.
There were even like 2 people, maybe like 3 meters to the right of me.
By the way, on the stream where you did this game, I was on that. This is the train depot, and you can redirect the train to cause massive casualties for no reason, and it doesn't even.
Oh, absolutely! All you got to do is just go find a lever, and it's like just right up here where I am right now, and it's a lot of fun, and it's super cool, and it does ruin Silent Assassin.
Yeah, unfortunately.
By the way, once again, Hitman. Yep.
What was that? Yep. Did you just get like butter or oil out of that?
No, I just had to fix the valve while the guy was currently looking, like, in his peripheral vision. There's no way he couldn't see me, especially dressed as a clown.
Oh, I see. So part of the assassination is using the valve somehow? How are you using it? I guess I'll find out.
Oh, I'm overloading the valve system, so it will explode.
Okay. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, so basically, suit-only Silent Assassin doesn't mean that you're playing this game in, like, the perfect, flawless way. It just kind of means that you're playing it in even more of a, well, clown-like way than usual. Exploiting AI. You know, I gotta say, I don't know if I've exploited AI as much, at least in a game, you know, that has this sort of scope to it, nearly in Hitman more than anything else.
I mean,
like, I played a lot of pretty expansive 3D open world games, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. Learning how, say, somebody that should be able to clearly see you here.
Well, if I saw a clown, you know, crouching in front of the, I would assume that, like, it's seltzer. They're gonna make a big jet of seltzer appear,
murdering somebody nearby.
Yeah, and it's like that's part of the act too.
It's all a show, baby. You know how that is.
Yeah, it's entertainment. You're just like having a giant jet of seltzer steam boil you alive for 20 minutes. And it's like
for exactly 20 minutes, as I'm already out of the level by that point.
And the clown is just there, like, doing tricks, like, you know, juggling bowling pins, and you're just laughing as your you know, flesh kind of.
You know, the reality is, one of the things I didn't realize at this point in time is that there is a fish. You can get near the docks of this area. You can get a fish, and if you put it down on the ground, people will slip on it. And I didn't realize that, and I think that is maybe the greatest tragedy of this playthrough.
And you can murder one of your targets by having them slip on a fish.
No, they just get knocked unconscious, but then I can shoot them in the head or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Now, is it a clownfish?
No, it is just like a blowfish. Well, not quite. The blowfish did actually appear back in Hokkaido, but, you know, not quite the same thing. Anyway, no one saw that. Certainly not the person staring directly at me. Certainly not the person staring directly at me as I walk past again.
Yeah, I accidentally ran into Darius Rucker a few years ago.
Oh my god, it's just... Hitman is... Anyway. And there we go, baby. Easy as that.
Oh, hooray.
Yep. So yeah, ace story kill here. As always, I have to say that you know, somebody who said that just like, oh, doing story kills is boring. Do the original ones where you grab people and throw them off edges.
Can you kill the targets with the train redirection?
Oh, absolutely. But it's just like that also kills a lot of other people. So I know. We all wanted to see that.
It's the classic trolley problem. You could not,
you know, where you redirect the train into an entire group of people from its safe journey otherwise.
It actually would have.
There's the fish.
The train, if it had been allowed to go on its normal journey, would have saved 100 people, but instead, like this applies. Instead, it kills hundreds of people.
Yeah, it's a real Wages of Fear style story. What are you talking
It's kind of a dilemma. You know, it's a classic philosophical paradox. Do you pull that lever and kill all those people as a clown? It's pretty epic.
It's pretty epic.
According to records, this was a youth correctional facility until 1962, when the estate was overtaken by an obscure Soviet research fund, the Institute for Human Betterment.
Looks deserted.
The place was abandoned after a fire in '89. Then, only a few weeks ago, it was acquired by an anonymous investor using cryptocurrency. It has to be Lucas Gray.
He's here.
Be careful, 47. The breadcrumbs were almost too easy to follow. It could be a trap.
Not a trap. An invitation.
You came home. I knew you would. You've come a long way, 47. And even now, you don't remember.
This place.
This was our prison, where Father trained us, shaped us into killers for Providence. Now, you don't remember. They ripped it out of you, wiped it away, but I do. I remember everything.
You're a terrorist with nothing to lose. You'd say anything.
I know, it's difficult. You never miss your mark or question your function, but we made a pact. You and I. Do this, and we both lose.
There was an incident. That boy, he died.
He lived. Because of you. Don't you remember his name? You know this. Deep down, you know. What was his name?
Subject 6. Your name is Subject 6.
And what is our purpose?
To take them all down.